Hello, family. I am so happy to have you today listen to this content. Today, we want to talk about building in Ghana, and I believe that you would enjoy this content. Here with me today is my very good friend Bernard Tay. Along the line, he will tell us who he is and what we're going to talk about. So stay tuned, and then you would enjoy this content. Right. I call him Dubai. He knows the reason. So we'd like to hear from you what you do and anything about your company. I know of Compact Solutions. You provide various construction needs for people or services for people. So we'd like to hear from you who you are and what you do.
Okay, all right. So I'm a civil engineer, but practically specialized in structural designs. So, like my friend earlier said, I'm into construction, and I work with my fellow architects who we do both design and construct. So basically, this is what I do.
Right. So it means that we are blessed and we're in the right place to hear the right information for us to be able to build easily and less expensive in Ghana. So let's take for example, Bernard, that I have a piece of land at a very nice place I want to build. What do I really need to know before I construct? These are the things we want to look at. But the first question or the main thing I want to know actually is, who do I have to see first? Do I really need to see someone first before I even go ahead, or what do I need to do?
All right. First of all, with the assumptions that you have your piece of land with your site plan ready. So firstly, the person you need to see is an architect. And I always say, most often in Ghana here, the job of an architect are really looked down upon, and then a whole lot of wrong things will happen. So these architects, they are specially trained people who utilize space and make sure that your building suits the environment in which it's going to be constructed. So first of all, it's advisable to see the architect.
Yeah.
And architects will come out with the design for you, a suitable one, of course. And also the architects do work in hand with the engineers to make sure that everything turns out or comes out right for you, the consumer. So basically, this is what an individual needs to do.
Right. You really need an architect. When you have to build, when you have a piece of land and you want to build, please don't go and pick a piece of paper and sketch and go and tell the mason to dig here, and then you would end up building. We have a lot of flats in the country, and we need to know and be advised by architects for us to be able to know what type of design we can build in what type of land we have. So that's good, but the fear actually is that people say that there's a lot of cost involved when I want to employ the services of an architect, and it's expensive, looking at maybe how much I need to raise a loan for a design, and so people get scared. They run away from what's supposed to be professionally done. So what sums up to make up a design cost that we have this cost? When you break it down for us, I'm very sure people would appreciate, and then when they are coming for the services of an architect, it would really help in that regard. So what sums up on a design cost?
Okay, with the cost of a design, when this is what you don't know behind the scenes. When you give an architect a project, he needs to employ the skills of an engineer and other specialties. In a design, for instance, you need to employ that of an engineer, a structural engineer, a service engineer. So he brings all these people on board to make sure that the design is complete. We all have our roles to play. So the architect first comes out with the design, then gives it to the structural engineer to do the structures, to make sure that the building is safe and strong enough to withstand every load which it has been designed to. Then also the service engineer that comes with the plumbing works, electrical works, and other things that will include alarm systems and all those stuff. So this is what the architects really do price the cost of a design. And more often the clients don't know, or maybe the architect might not inform the client. So with all these specialties that come together to come out the design, sums up the cost at which the architect will charge the client. And sometimes some clients do come with their own, probably have their own engineers and other specialties, so they just need that of the design from the architect. So when it happens like that, the architect will just charge you based on only the design.
Okay.
But when you entrust the entire thing into his hands for design, he needs to charge you for everything.
Okay.
And with the job, they have people that you work with that you feel comfortable with. So as it works, you have the people that you work with that you feel you're okay with. So every architect has his engineers, he has his services engineers that they all work with. So when he comes to you to charge, he charge for everything.
Okay.
And like he was saying that the design is very expensive. We always say that design is very expensive when it comes to the fee for an architect, but it's even more expensive when you take that of a layman or probably a draftsman to do it for you. Because he might do certain things that are not really that much necessary, and then you need to construct it, which are more expensive. So it's best you see an architect. It's not expensive when it comes to that.
Right. It is not expensive. You may see the value or the figure today to be a very high one, but when you employ the services of a layperson, like he said, or a draftsman, who probably do not understand the general aspects of the area in which you are building, it means that you are actually piling up a debt for yourself tomorrow when you start experiencing issues with the building. So yes, as you have explained, it means that you, as well as an architect, you are one person, but you have many people you work with, and that comes up to make the amount of a design a big one. Right. So that is just one component of it. So the other question I would want to understand, which when I mentioned that we're going to talk about building, someone said I should ask you, is what has made construction expensive of late? People want to build, but hey, you check and you realize that this building, Charlie, it's constructing even from the foundation level before you even floor it. I tell you would, if you are not strong enough, you may even stop along the way. So what makes construction so expensive nowadays?
Alright, so with the expenses, I always say everything begins from the design stage. That's why we say get an architect. When you have an architect will first ask you about your budget on the project on which you want to construct. So when he knows your budget, he knows the kind of design to give you. A good design, but very economical, that you can build and you feel okay, or you won't feel too much of it. So the architect comes out with good designs and very economical one. He will build something for you that you can build. But when you go and see that of a draftsman or a layman, he probably told him he need a 2-bedroom. He doesn't care about your cost. He doesn't care about your income. All he needs to do is to design a 2-bedroom for you, and that's it. So maybe the space won't be enough, or even be too much. Some things might be unnecessary. You just put it just to let me say they do it to catch clients or to make it catchy. But then an architect will look at that, make sure that though it's modern, but it's very economical, that you can build, your building will be okay. So one, from the design stage, is one factor. That's why you need an architect. So your design won't be that much expensive and to be according to your budget. Secondly, it's the mode of construction. And then this comes to play supervision.
Okay.
Supervision works. More often, Ghana here, people realize most people build and on their project they don't even have those who design it supervising the project.
Okay.
So you have lay people or only artisans on the site who will probably be doing whatever they like. So with the mode of construction, realize that for instance, when you have masons, just masons on your site, and they are about to do concrete works. You see, every design is unique per its location, and we have concrete grades that you need to use for these projects.
Okay.
So probably you are using an artisan who has worked on a project somewhere, and then based on that experience, maybe he was supervised by engineers and architects over there, but here you do have engineers and architects over here. So we'll be using the experience he had there with the same code of practice on your site. Meanwhile, your site might not even require that standard, and your building will be safe even with a lesser grade. And that you have the artisan using the same thing on your site. More materials, more cement, so all those stuff increases the cost.
Okay.
So probably you have a 4-bedroom house, and maybe the design you just need your with your location, your soil is good, and probably you might just go 3 feet, but probably he has gone somewhere to do a work somewhere where the soil is very clayey and you need to dig a bigger depth to have your foundation.
And he also comes to give you a very
bigger depth at the place with the same design code of practice and whatever he has experienced over there.
Okay.
So every project is unique, and it comes with its own special mode of practice and means of construction.
Okay.
So this is another major factor. And secondly, thirdly, it still boils up to the supervision. You see, we are to build and avoid errors. But then we have laymen and artisans who are just working based on what they think is right without any supervision. So then when it comes to your site, some of them even barely knows how to read the plan and all those stuff. You come and you see so many faults. You have one building and today you break, you reconstruct, you break and you reconstruct because of this petty mistake. You realize that you keep repeating the same cost over and over again. Over and over again. So that's a major factor. And then there are so many factors, but the few ones I can tell for now. The last one is that of the material. The materials that you need. The materials that you need for your site. Over here in Ghana, people often use materials because they feel this is the material that's in the system and we are using it. And they really don't look at the aspect of why should this material be used at this point in time and why it shouldn't be used. For instance, we are having that of we have to do a casting for a foundation, and then realize that people go in to buy more of marstone, and then they use this marstone for construction. This still has less strength as compared to that of the high tensile, and they tell you that probably the marstone is less expensive, but then you when you use the marstone you buy more iron rods, because that one is short and the strength is not that good. But when you use the high tensile, you can use the high tensile, it's having good strength and you have enough spacing. And your building is strong and at the same time it's very safe. But then people intend using milestone all the time, and they intend buying more material, thinking that because the milestone is less as compared to the price of the high tensile, they intend buying the milestone. But then when you do that, you have to buy more milestones, and then your spacing of the iron rods will be lesser, making it more expensive as compared to when you use the high tensile. So for our code of practice, engineers, we often specify that for our designs. High tensile, so that the clients will get them and then reduce them, and the construction will be less expensive. But unfortunately for most people, after we do these designs and we give the drawings to them, they give it to masons, and then the masons recommend they buy masks and all those stuff, which is not advisable.
Yeah.
So I think that
right. So you listening is to say that when the architect, the engineer, gives you a design, a structural drawing, and any plan recommending to you the material you should use to build, please don't go and employ the services of someone who would change the plan and recommend other materials for you, where at the end of the day you may end up breaking some parts of the building and buying and working on it again, and all of these things that you could have avoided. So mostly when you follow one path, I believe from what he has said, you will probably not have huge cost in your building. Well, we are just wrapping up in our presentation, as we have other things, another topic that will come up for you to have a feel, so that you can build easily and less expensive in Ghana and maybe in some other parts of Africa as well. So I know there are some general misconceptions about construction, and I'd like to hear from you what those misconceptions are.
Okay, fine. So when you ask someone who is about to build that, who do you think you need? They say, oh, I have a mason who is about to construct my project for me. So this one major misconception.
Yeah.
People think that when you want to build, all you need is a mason. But these people are artisans. They are people that are supposed to follow measures given to them by an engineer or an architect. But now in Ghana here, someone is building and it's like, oh, me per mason. The person is done with a mason. And then you have a mason who will come in, and for sure when they come, they'll talk to you, they'll really make you feel they are very competent for the job.
Yeah.
Because they probably construct some few works which probably they were under the supervision of an architect or engineer, but they won't tell you. But then they will make you feel like they've done it before, so they can do it. And then you give them your project. So when this happens, you realize that you have so many faults with your building, cracks. Is it because there's no supervision? They come and they do what they want. They come and they do what they want. With material specification, with concrete grade, steel grades, all those stuff. They come and do whatever they want and they leave the site. So they end up costing you much cost. Because at the long run, and we always have these issues, people calling us back to come to their project to check and then give them some advice on what to do with the problems they're currently facing. And with those problems, we do face them a lot. Currently, I'm on a project checking for structural integrity check for a 4-story building, which is currently, let me say, almost collapsing.
Wow.
So these are some of the major issues that they are facing. This building was apparently constructed by a mason under no supervision.
Wow.
So one, a mason is not someone to build for. He's an artisan. He needs to be supervised. He needs to be controlled on site on what to do and what not to do.
I see. Okay.
So that's one of the misconceptions. Now, secondly, they say the services of an engineer and architect is very expensive. It's not very expensive. Let's give this scenario. If you have your building and you've designed and everything for you, let me start from the design stage. You give your work to a draftsman and he designs for you. And the work of an engineer, for instance, we do our calculations based on scientific reasons and other load factors that we consider to come out with the member sizing, size of our pillars, size of our beams, size of our slab thickness and all those stuff. But now you've given your work to a layman to design for you. First of all, the design he will do, in terms of the architectural aspect, is questionable.
Yeah.
Probably we will repeat someone's design for you. So now, at that first place, cost has already gone. Secondly, when it comes to the structural design, he will give it to definitely another layman will do it.
Yeah.
He can't do that of the calculations or of the assumptions that engineers need to do to come out to the structural detailing. So then he's afraid that the building will collapse. So all he needs to do is to just put in bars, increase member sizes, and all those things comes with a cost.
That's true.
So probably a building which will stand with a pillar size or a column size, let me say 200 by 450, because he's afraid and he's just trying to be on the safer side, will probably give you 600 by 600 square.
Okay.
Just to make sure that he's safe and then your building is okay. And all these things are cost.
Yeah.
And if you should consider the service of an engineer, an architect, when you do all those things, you see, you won't see them at that particular stage, but at the construction stage, you realize that you utilize cost.
That's true.
Because you avoid all those oversizing and unnecessary number of bars in a structural member.
Yeah.
So this is what will save you. But because people are not aware of that, they don't really see that cost which has been cut off.
That's true.
But when they are spending more on the construction, they are unaware because there's no one to advise them, or they have no engineer or professional on the project who tell that this thing is too much, or it can be reduced to this size and it will still work for you. So from the design stage to the construction stage, this artisan, definitely there's a high possibility that they'll do mistakes. Even though they design it for you, they will still end up doing mistakes.
I see.
And you have issues somewhere, and all those stuff comes with cost. And this is where you come in and play lessons on an engineer or an architect to advise you. And when you come in, we have to charge you for our services. And the truth is that it's more expensive when we come on an already existing project which is facing fault and we need to redesign it. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
Because that comes a lot of thinking and a whole lot of testing, considerations and all that.
That's true.
Before we come out with the design again. So considering these factors, I don't think the service of an engineer or an architect is expensive.
Yeah.
So this is what I think basically we have to know about that.
Right. It's getting interesting, but we don't want to bore you with long conversations. But what we're saying is that we are not downgrading what the mason does or what the masons do. We're only telling you what exactly they do. They are to build for you, but before they build, they need to have a design that they go by, and they need to be supervised. Otherwise, they will go according to their own understanding of how it is. And for the fear of giving you inferior, they would give you overpriced items, or give you maybe some high quality, or maybe the sizing of the material, and that would end up giving you increasing the cost of your building. So please make sure you don't put a burden on yourself because you would pay an architect and an engineer to give you a good design. So we're just wrapping up. I would like to know, Bernard, you work with, or you are co-owner of Compact Solutions. So
yeah, sure.
What are services? What do you do at Compact Solutions?
Okay, so with Compact Design Solution, like I said earlier, we are a team of architects and engineers. So myself, I'm an engineer, and then my co-worker is an architect.
Okay.
So we come out with design and build, and then we have service of that of structural design. We do 3D visualization. We also have a surveyor, so definitely we do site plan.
Okay.
And also we do general construction, and there's also consultancy.
Okay.
So you can consult us if you have a problem, and then we see to it and make sure that we help you out with whatever issue you are facing. Right.
So Compact Design Solutions, as you have rightly heard, are able to follow you through from your design phase to completion of your project if you need it that way. And trust you me, you would save a lot of money. And so we will share the contacts of Compact Design Solutions. Then you grab it. Make sure you even contact them. You have heard him say they are consultancy services. Even if you don't want to build and you want to learn something more so that you can use their services tomorrow, have a consultation with them. I believe that you would be able to save at least some amount of money for contacting Compact Design Solutions, so that you would not go throw your money away because you didn't know what you were doing. Thank you so much. And once again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do me a favor and click the subscribe button right there and expect the next content to come.